Welcome to the Know. I'm Ashley.
I'm Brian.
Like, if you're wondering why every app and website like you've ever used, and then probably forgotten that you had ever used and signed up for an account with, has been bothering you with emails about their privacy terms, there is a reason for that. It's because of a new set of rules that went into effect today in the EU. That's the European Union.
Yeah.
I did my homework.
Nice. And it's also caused a lot of sites based out of the US to go dark today in the EU. That includes a bunch of major news sites that are temporarily unavailable while they try to get in compliance with some pretty strict new rules about the way they collect personal information.
It's almost like they should have announced that this was coming. Yeah. Oh wait, they did.
They did.
Right, but actually, you know what though? That's not just the warning isn't always enough. Sometimes I guess things take a while for companies to get doing. I mean, even some video games are shutting down their European servers as well. So now you know it's serious. Yeah. They came for the games.
Yeah, it's definitely a new day in the EU when it comes to privacy rules, and lots of tech companies have been scrambling to get on board kind of at the last minute or risk getting locked out of a major international market.
I mean, speaking of last minute, we are one of the companies who sent out the emails for those who are registered users on our website, which you should totally be, by the way, if you're not. And yeah, that went out like 15 minutes before we recorded this.
We're part of the problem.
Right under the line. Okay, so let's dig into what happened. First, let's talk about what the new rules mean, because that's kind of important. Specifically, we are talking about the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR rules. You might have heard of that acronym or seen it around.
Yeah, the rules require that companies working in the EU must get people's consent to collect personal information, or they're gonna face hefty fines.
Real hefty.
Yeah, that's why you're seeing a lot of GDPR emails in your inbox requesting that you agree to the new rules.
And a lot of sites also, when you go to them, they're all gonna be having that pop-up like, we've updated our privacy and our terms of use.
Yeah.
Click OK to say that you agree. The rules also boost certain individual rights, such as the right to have your data erased, the right to ask a company for a copy of your data, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it also includes some new rules, such as the right to transfer your data from one service provider to another, and the right to restrict companies from using personal data.
Well, and even if a company isn't based in Europe, if they have users in Europe, they've got to comply. It's about if they're going to collect the information of EU citizens, then they have to they have to comply.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money involved because the penalties for breaking the new rules are steep. It can result in fines of up to 4% of a company's global revenue, or about $23 million, whichever is higher. So yeah, it's a lot of money.
20 million euro for the non-Americans.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty much every company has been falling into line to comply because, hey, Europe is a big area.
Yep.
There are a lot of people there, and they're using a lot of services. The companies range from Google to Facebook to pretty much, well, if you've got a business with a presence on the web, them.
Yeah, even director Rian Johnson poked fun at all the notifications. He tweeted a photo of the famous Star Wars yellow titles for The Last Jedi saying, "We have updated our global privacy terms."
Oh, I can't wait to see that in the next crawl.
Yeah.
Now, since the rules went into effect, they've resulted in actually some website outages in Europe, including some major US news channels like LA Times and Chicago Tribune.
Yeah, Tronc, the company that owns both of those newspapers, as well as the New York Daily News and others, posted about the outages and said they're working on it.
Tronc wrote, "Unfortunately, our website is currently unavailable in most European countries. We are engaged on the issue and committed to looking at options that support our full range of digital offerings to the EU market." So they are committed to looking at options. It could be a while.
Yeah, another publisher, Lee Enterprises, they also put out a bunch of newspapers. They also found their sites were being blocked as well.
In a message, they said, "We're sorry, this site is temporarily unavailable. We recognize you're attempting to access this website from a country belonging to the EU, which enforces the General Data Protection Regulation and therefore cannot grant you access at this time."
Yeah, but this didn't affect all news sites. CNN, the New York Times, and others, they seem to be prepared for Friday's deadline, and their sites were still up.
Not to mention the biggest sites on the internet, RoosterTeeth.com.
Yes.
And in fairness, all these companies, they have had a long time to get ready for the new rules. While GDPR was passed nearly 2 years ago, they enacted a grace period of 2 years, but the grace period ends Friday.
So I guess some companies just didn't take it seriously, or maybe they just wait till the last minute, like you put off your term paper in high school.
Yeah, I mean, we all did that, right? If you didn't do that, I don't know who you are.
Screw you for being smart.
The European Commission tweeted on Thursday, "This is it. Today, our EU data protection rules enter into application, putting the Europeans back in control of their data. Europe asserts its digital sovereignty and gets ready for the digital age."
But the rules affected more than just websites. The PC hardware maker Razer issued an update to one of its computer mice, and it warned that the devices might quit working if users didn't accept the update.
Your mouse might stop working.
That sucks.
Cool. While a lot of companies were scrambling to comply, other companies just kind of went the other route and just blocked European users from their servers.
Yeah, they included Instapaper, which lets you save articles to read at a later date. It wasn't available in Europe today, but it told customers that the move was temporary, saying, "We apologize for any inconvenience, and we intend to restore access as soon as possible."
And some online games just decided to shut down in the EU, including free-to-play MMOs Ragnarok Online and Dragon Saga, which both closed down their European servers. The developers behind another free-to-play game, Loadout, they actually announced a shutdown of the game entirely due to GDPR, citing rising costs and the new regulations behind their decision. I guess they just didn't have the money to comply with GDPR, and then if they're gonna lose all the European users, they didn't have the money to keep going. So just shut down.
Yeah, also the MOBA style shooter Super Monday Night Combat also shut down. Its developer told Rock Paper Shotgun, "We've tried to keep the game going as long as we could, as it was break even or close to break even on monthly server costs up until now, but both of these options are unfortunately out of range of the budget we have set aside for Super Monday Night Combat."
So yes, seems like no one wants to face this steep fines, because you know what's really gonna eat into your budget? 20 million euro.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the new GDPR rules in Europe? Have you noticed being locked out of any sites? Let us know in the comments.
And for all your GDPR news, be sure to like this video if you're new around here, subscribe to the know.
Well, about that daily GDPR updates.
Yeah, we're a GDPR channel.
Look, hey, we're compliant. We're cool.
Absolutely. Don't find out. I don't have 20 million euros.
I don't have 20 million. I have to open up like crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Set of rules that went into effect because of things.